Skill of the day. Today's skill of the day is around the pull-up. Much like yesterday we talked about, kipping a toe to bar was not a means to attain a movement, but a means to increase efficiency and intensity on the movement. The pull-up or the kipping version of it is the exact same. We only want to practice the kip when we've got the strict movement. It is not a means to get your chin above the bar during reps and intensity in a workout especially. It's okay to practice it every now and then, but definitely not to include it in a workout until we have the strength for the strict movement. So first of all, what are a couple of really cool ways we can work on our strict strength? We can start all the way down at a really low bar or ring rows or something like that. So we can do ring rows, lying heaves, something at a really low bar where we have our feet on the floor, and then that takes away a lot of our body weight and we're pulling in this action. Obviously we want to transition to pulling in that vertical plane rather than in the horizontal plane because that's a lot more specific. But when we don't have any strength up here, then that horizontal plane is a lot safer to start with. Once we can get a little bit into our vertical plane, then what we can do is something like this. We can grab a box and we want our head about 6 inches underneath the bar or thereabouts. Doesn't matter because we're going to keep our legs bent until we straighten our arms out. What we can do there is we can jump the chin above the bar, hold, and then lower down over 3 seconds, place our feet down, jump, lower down over 3 seconds, jump. And we can do sets of about 5 reps and about 3 to 5 sets through, just focusing on that control action down to locked out elbows, then allow the feet to get put on the ground. So that's a negative version. Once we can do kind of 3 sets of 5 and we are able to maintain it 3 seconds down the whole way, resting about a minute in between each of your sets, we can then get the box away and we can either go from a higher jump, or if we do already have a version of the kip, we can kip and then lower down. The reason we can kip now and it's relatively safe is because we're not kipping through intensity and for a massive amount of reps. All right, so we do the same thing. We come off the bar, we kip, chin, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And again, we can do 3 sets of 5 or build up to 3 sets of 5, resting about a minute in between. And then once you can hit about 3 sets of 5 at that, you're probably ready to try the strict movement. All right, so once you've built up a little bit of capacity in the strict movement, then we can start learning the kipping version. All right, so the reason why I chose pull-ups today, because yesterday we talked about the kipping swing, so we're going to brief over that relatively quickly because it's the same kipping swing as you used in the toes to bar yesterday. So what we're looking for in the kipping swing, active shoulder, tight and hollowed body position. All right, feet together, glutes squeezed, belly locked in, everything nice and tight. Hands just on the outside of the shoulders, active shoulders. From there, we come into hollow, arch, hollow, arch, hollow, arch. Notice how it's just a small little controlled kipping action. Everything's tight. We get that global extension throughout the body, so nothing breaks. We don't break through the knees or allow our elbows or shoulder to break through. Everything's nice, tight, and active throughout the movement. Next thing we're going to do is a quarter pull-up. Now what we're looking for in the action is as we press down into the bar with the lats, we then pull, we then give a little push so then we can come back through into our next rep. So that's important. If I pull and then drop straight down, I'm back underneath the bar, hanging dead underneath the bar, and I won't be able to go back into a successful another rep in a row. So it's really important that I pull, push, and then come back down. The push isn't too far away from the bar, but just enough to allow you to come back into that kipping action. So let's have a look at a quarter pull-up. So again, active shoulder position. I get my kipping swing first. And then from there, as I'm in this position or my hollow position at the rear here, I do a little push and pull like this. push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Notice how I remain in a hollowed position when I'm doing the push-pull. So everything stays nice and tight. Again, I don't break my position. I allow everything to stay nice and tight. What you can do then is you can slowly work that chin higher and higher and higher until you get the chin above the bar. So let's have a look at what that would look like. Now, this doesn't have to all happen in one session. This can be over a course of days, weeks, months. We're slowly building up that capacity in good, tight and active position before we go higher and higher and increase that intensity of the movement. So let's have a look. So we start off with just that little quarter pull-up, and then we get a little bit higher each time, until we get the chin all the way up above the bar. They are a couple of little progressions that you can use for the kipping pull-up. We always start with strict strength movements first. Once we build a capacity out the strength movement, if you wanted a number to give, then probably around 3 for the ladies and 5 for the guys is somewhere around where we want to be with our strength before we want to do kipping pull-ups in a workout. Another thing on kipping is, if you've just got strict and you've just got this kip, do not be in a rush to get butterflies. We need to go through the whole process again. And if you wanted a number, the reason I say a number is because lots of people ask for a number. I would say somewhere more around the 8 for ladies and 12 for guys, strict pull-ups before you attempt the butterflies. All right, that is an advanced movement, and there's a lot more working parts to it, so we can put our shoulder into some really poor positions there. The normal kip is quite safe when we have the strict movement. All right, so that is today's skill of the day, the kipping pull-up, strength first before we kip.